Taking stock of actions and setting a new course is what we're doing 2020 through this new decade, and we're having people who are doing just that. They've been doing it and they can inspire us to get into it. That's why Fatabe Elmin is here all the way from Douala. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We really discussed this. We're like, we have to have you. You're a young lady with a university.
Yes.
It's a big deal. So we have to get to the root of this.
Yes.
But first off, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you very much.
How's Douala?
Well, hot, very hot, but okay.
Yes. No, you look great, so I think you've accommodated to that. But then we want to get to the root of a woman, a female achiever that you are, and that has to be growing up.
Yes.
How did that impact or influence who you became as an adult?
Well, you know, a lot of things that young people learn, they pick from their families.
Sure.
And as they grow up, some of those things don't leave them.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things I'm doing today, a lot of the things I learned as an adult, actually started from childhood.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that almost everything I have become today started from my childhood days.
Who impacted you the most while growing up?
My parents.
Okay.
My parents. See, my childhood was quite interesting. I grew up in a family where we had sometimes 30 people at home.
Oh.
And just 2 family members.
Yes.
A lot of friends, a lot of people we didn't really know as children, or who came in to live with us. My parents were always gone, always gone. My father was into business, my mother into politics, and a civil servant as well. And so we grew up with a lot of people, lots of influences. But one thing that I learned from all of this was the fact that our parents never treated us differently from these people. So myself and my brother were the youngest, and we did all the work in the house.
Okay, it wasn't like this is my house.
No, not at all. And so yes, my parents really impacted me a lot.
I do agree with that. We were just talking and I was smiling because it's almost the same experience I had while growing up.
Good.
And one of the things, my dad was always out of the country. So one of the things my mom would always remind us is this is a reflection of society.
Yes.
You will meet people like this.
Good.
Don't say this is my house.
Yes.
You will meet them in your office or on the road.
Exactly.
And that's life for you. You have to learn to relate with them.
That's right.
But then how did this experience pave the way for you to become an entrepreneur?
See, I saw my dad waking up every morning at 5.
Okay.
And I heard him telling my brother every day a man doesn't sleep above 5 a.m.
Oh.
I saw my mother work hard. She was a civil servant. She was in politics. She was always gone. She would trek sometimes long hours to do politics. But when I was a child, when I was in class 6, I think, I saw a lot of my friends doing business, kind of petty trade.
In class 6?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wanted to do that too.
Yes.
So I told my dad, see, I want to do business. And he said, you're too young for that. And I said, but my friends are doing it. He said, no, my child is not going to do that. So after whining and crying and trying to corner my mother, my dad let me do it.
What was your first business?
I sold tomatoes and pepper and okra.
Where?
At the Kumba main market.
During the weekends?
No, during the long vacation.
Okay.
And so that was great. I remember the first day I sold tomatoes. I was all over the place with joy, you know, giving somebody something and receiving a reward for it. That really stuck with me. And I think everything I'm doing today is a reflection of those things I did as a child. I did a lot of other things, you know, playing with kids around. I learned how to plait. We would dig up Bahama grass, wash off the soil from the roots, and learn to plait. And let me tell you that when I went to Europe as a student, I didn't have a job, but I had to survive. So guess what I did? Hairdressing.
There you go. Came in handy.
Yes. I learned that as a child. So yes, my childhood has really been phenomenal.
Okay. Now the big question people have on their minds is, how did you come to have a university of your own?
I am just one of the girls in my family. We're actually 4 girls and 2 boys. Our parents gave us all a good education. So there was no discrimination, boys, girls, no. We all had the opportunity to have a good education. But I saw that a lot of people did not make the best of their education for two reasons. One, because first, they could not afford a good education. And second, because the kind of education that was provided really did not match the needs of the society. I kept thinking about it even as a student. So when I returned to this country from Europe, I thought, see, I want to do something for my country. What can I do? The best thing I can do is to correct those things. The best thing I can do is to give a lot of people the opportunities I had.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, just teaching in the university as I did doesn't really help much, you know, because a lot of people still will not be able to afford it. So why not start something?
Okay.
And
when was this?
I returned in 2008,
okay.
And in 2009, I got my first job teaching entrepreneurship. And by 2011, I set up my first polytechnic. And in 2014, I created Fortabe University. So this is actually the second higher institute I'm creating. But besides that, I have created 3 vocational training centers as well. That is not just giving certificates to people, but giving them the skills that they need to actually survive in this hostile environment.
So that's the difference you want to make. After observing education, you thought you could put your little word in it, and it came forth in this amazing way.
That's it.
But how's it going so far?
Great.
Challenging?
Yes, very challenging, especially because we started off in Boya, and then Bamenda. And because of the crisis, we had to move everything, move the students. It hasn't been easy, but I thrive in challenges. I think that everybody should expect challenges and make the best of challenges. So it's going just well.
Have you ever faced any reaction due to the fact that you're a woman running this university?
Oh, yes. I remember in 2013, I overheard, you know, I have a kind of strong personality, so many times people will not say that in front of you, but you can perceive it sometimes.
Yes.
But I overheard a collaborator, a partner, saying she's doing all of this, a small girl who is not even married, you know.
There you go, who is not even married.
Yes, a small girl who isn't even married. That didn't really hurt, it just challenged me to do better.
Yes. It's important. I love the way you saw it, because definitely some women will believe that when they hear that, they have to prove themselves or prove that person wrong. You just went on with it.
Yes.
And you continued achieving.
Sure.
And they kept talking.
Yes.
And it didn't change a thing.
And they keep talking.
Yeah, and they keep talking.
And it wouldn't change anything. That's
but then finally, let's talk about your association, Association for the Promotion of Decent Work for Women and Girls.
Yes.
Why is this so important for you?
Because I lived in Europe and I saw a lot of girls who did jobs that I wouldn't qualify as decent. There is something that really worries me all the time. You know, why is it that only women are domestic workers? Why is it that only women will do the menial things? You know, I always thought like that. Is it that the women do not really understand that they are worth more than that?
Or they're raised to believe in their role as servants?
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is the whole idea behind the association, wanting to promote decent work, inspiring the women to know that you can do more than just being domestic workers, inspiring the women to know that you can be more than just making babies, you know, inspiring the women to know that you can celebrate other women and you can grow together, and actually giving them a platform for this growth. So we provide small loans to women, and we help them to start small businesses and grow in those businesses.
All right. Well, before we let you go, Elmine, what will be your final word for women watching you today and hoping to be inspired by you?
This is the part I don't like, because I don't like to always advise. But I would say that every woman knows what they have to do.
Sure.
So the best person to advise you is you. In spite of everything we do out there, in spite of all the actions we put out there, we know what we have to do as women. And so do that. That's all.
Okay. Ask questions and listen to your parents, because that's the root of it all. And also be assertive, just like Elmine. Thank you again for passing by.
Thank you very much for having me.
Time for us to move on to, the Adamawa region of Cameroon. International Women's Day brings together global governments, businesses, and performances. In our everyday lives, we come across women who reflect the essence of this day. in the region of Adamawa. One of such women making mindsets evolve in her community is the CEO of SOCAMAD, Adama